Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Studio A. Greetings, my fellow divine co-creative celestial beings of the now. Welcome to Planet Collingwood here on Studio A Revolution Radio. A big thank you to Why Not and crew for the Y-Files. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can. We're 100% listener supported, so all your help helps. See, I went off script there. My name is Monty Dean. I am the host of Planet Collingwood. And let's just bring on some comedy. Now, remember, even if the jokes don't work, it's still comedy. Yeah. If you've seen Saturday Night Live, let's try and be better than that, which is not that hard. Today's show is brought to you by Q-Heal, quantum healing hypnosis technique in Sydney and Melbourne. Q-Heal.com. Let Paul do a session with you. Lockdown. Providing a proviso and all that type of stuff, so I can get rid of that. And I scripted everything, and I don't have to remember everything. It's all done in 2 minutes. So Revolution Radio, and hello Flippy in the chat. Well, once you've donated what you can, obviously within reason, pop into the chat room and hang out with like-minded, even loved. Let's be fair, I've got some regulars there that stick around. We have the huge number of, just got up to 30. It was 29, so that's the drawing power I have. I get tens of people to the yard and then don't even need a milkshake, whatever that means. Now, here's 2 guests that I allowed out of the Revolution Radio basement, and someone that is trying to escape. It's like the Great Escape, but he can never leave. Bruce MacDonald, welcome back to Planet Collingwood. How are you, sir?
Well, I left. I'm here as a guest.
I know. Yeah. Yep, but
feels good too. Do you know? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Do you know that I have been incessantly badgered through Facebook Messenger by Daryl for not at least calling into your show? So the very fact that I'm here, you can thank Daryl for that. Daryl has very little to do since he retired from Walmart. Very, very little to do.
Well, that's with retirement. You have to do something to stay alive. The gentleman, I think Charles Schultz, who did the Peanuts comic strip cartoon, he worked for 70 years, retired, and passed away 2 weeks later. So have a plan if you are leaving the workforce. Write books, move to a jungle, many things like that. So we've also been joined by our New South Wales correspondent, Cortek. Are you there, my friend?
G'day, am I here?
Hey, all right.
Yes!
Coming in.
2 out of 2.
You've paid the Skype gods.
Okay.
Welcome to week 66 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Not even. Jeez. Let's start.
You got to keep account of this because you can kind of not keep account of it, and it just kind of gets a little bit wishy-washy. But I think we should be keeping count of this because it's stupid. That's up there with my political statement about the Chinese Communist Party. They suck. I don't really. It's not a thesis. It's a premise, really. So that's basically it. Let's go to Planet Collingwood News, which is just 2 articles that I spotted while trying to. Just on a personal. It's a whole team, Monty. It's a whole team of people scurrying about, collecting bits of paper on their desk like newsreaders do at the end, collating stuff, getting stuff ready. It's a whole team. All I could come up with is 2 articles, so they must be pretty good.
But personally, I've had my Instagram account hacked and stolen, so I'm trying to get that back. My computer completely froze, which is very rare for a Mac, so I'm like, oh, that's just lovely. As well as my gearbox is playing up for about 20 minutes. I didn't have second or fourth. So that was interesting driving. It can be done, but the engine doesn't like it after a while. So, yeah. And I'm wondering.
A bit of second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then there's fourth.
Your reality's gone on strike, Monty. Your old reality is holding out for more attention. Just divorce it quickly. Move on.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's because of a certain audiobook that I'm working on, where it's like,
oh my God, don't even go there.
Okay.
Don't even go there.
It's either that or blame Mercury, and whatever happens, it's a challenge, and I've moved forward.
Stop
and
it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Monty,
God.
Monty Stewart Dean is a phenomenal audiobook reader, folks.
I want to
And
hear it.
he's
I'm keen to hear
he's
it.
on. Oh, buy it, you cheap bastard.
Yeah,
He's on
I
his
didn't know
second.
you guys had finished yet.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Monty, I don't mean to discuss shop on air here, but I can't find it yet. You got to go back there and figure out at AR, the website, what's going on.
Well, apparently it's been submitted to the sites, and it could take from 14 to 60 days to go up. Like if even Audible, if we approached Audible, it would take 60 days, because apparently in 2021 they have to transcribe it onto paper and then re-record it.
Right.
It's like banks, where if I send a check to Bruce, it takes 3 days, and yet. Yeah, if we make one thing, instant cut. Yeah, it's stupid. Corruption in the system. It's corruption in the system. So we'll get to that. So let's just get through the news. Rancher Armand, is that how you say? Armand Bundy is running for governor in Idaho to fight Joe Biden and the deep state. Apparently he didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want to work at his uncle's shoe store. So that's basically.
Who would? Stinky feet all day. People don't think about people in a shoe store. They don't put on a new pair of socks and they just put it straight in their face. I've seen Married with Children.
Yeah, but it's Wednesday, Peg. It's Wednesday. If you can remember, 8 hours. So maybe having Bundy on the ticket, that will help, because, some people in the United States vote for a dead guy. So that's the first one that I got out. But so good luck.
He's related to the ranch dude, yeah.
He is the ranch dude.
He is the ranch dude. Oh, yeah, good on him.
Yeah.
Hope he gets a lot of support.
Because the rest of reality tried to step into my reality, going, "Hey, let's just mess with your hair and break your knees." The weakness of the comedy there is a long bow to pull. I could have gone to Ted Bundy, but that's a bit dark. So Armand Bundy
doesn't need it.
Yeah, so mind you, Ted probably get more votes. Oh, is that the guy that beats women and kills them? Oh, I'll vote for him. He's lovely.
He gets lots of love letters, I think.
Yeah, from the movie that I saw with Zac Efron, it's like, dear God, that man can act. Because Ted Bundy was a complete coward, all bravado in front of the cameras, but give him a chance to run, and the little bitch will just like a rat out of an aqueduct. So that's one. And the article number 2, Marvel reportedly has no plans for WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Blu-ray releases. So basically, you won't own anything and you'll be happy. So,
Did everyone stop using Blu-ray like 20 years ago?
No, I bought some this year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I physical
What
media.
for?
Because I can watch it and if I come over to your house, I can take the disc with me and watch it there.
Oh, we could have a Blu-ray party.
Sure. I've still got VHS tapes. I think it's my Scottishness coming. I was like, I paid for this. I'm getting my money's worth. This is 30 years old. Shut up and watch it. So.
It's as good today as it was when it first came out in 1986.
Yeah, true. It's just metal filing stuck to a bit of plastic, but over time. Like I think I still got my first VHS video here, which is Life of Brian. So there you go. And I'll bring up the top 9 in a moment or so. So, gentlemen, what is from how me speak badly? See, I'm a bad speller and speaker, so I don't really control my reality at all. Like you're spelling words wrong, yes, but I'm not effing with the system, am I? What's been going on in your lives?
Bruce?
Oh, what?
Oh,
my God!
Yeah, he just released a book and it's going well.
I just got a text message from Daryl. Thank you so very much for calling in. I think Daryl might be gay.
Well, it sounds like his heart's in the right place. He's just showing some love.
Yeah,
as long as it's not that kind of love we're talking about, that's unwarranted. Just a good,
they are practicing safe sex because they're in different countries.
Yeah. So what's going on? Well, I left a major urban center in Canada called Toronto to lead a quiet life here, and
how's that working out for you?
It was only 5 years behind me. Apparently, it walked here. So I'm getting super busy now, and and a lot of offers. This third book came out really, really well, and so things are going well for me. I'm really glad I decided to start writing again. I made a vow to not write anymore when I came to Costa Rica because I was so disappointed with the failure of my last 2 novels to publish. And then I just switched it up a bit, folks. I kind of met myself in the middle, merged my technical writing and my creative writing, and looked for other avenues of expression. And I found this niche, talking in depth and eloquently about a lot of the things that alternative media talks about, but it's different on paper, isn't it? Well, in every way. Like, I mean, you can watch like 100 hours of YouTube interview with John Edmonds about Stardust Ranch. It doesn't have 5% of the effect of reading the book. I think books are coming back. I think we're going backwards. I think that internet radio and podcasting represents the old radio box on the fire mantle, and the family would gather in 1905 around the fireplace and listen to Saturday night radio being broadcast from somewhere nationwide. And I'd say people listen to a lot more like spoken word audio now, radio. Now, why is this important? Because it went away. Like when video came out, like nobody listened to the radio anymore. Movies is what everybody did. And now everybody's going retro, right? And books are coming back in fashion, and thank God.
The resurgence of vinyl.
Yeah.
That's just because of better sound quality. But I think books are just the fact that people know that if it's on TV, they're not going to get the full story. Well, they're going to get a dramatized version of it, or you're going to get NASA's, 3D render of a star rather than somehow a picture of it, or if that's even possible.
There's also a different feeling. Like, you could actually have a Kindle and walk around. I've got the Library of Atlantis in my palm. Yeah, but if you read for an hour, the screen bores into your third eye and it saps the life out of you. However, if you hold a physical book where you can smell it, you could be covered in dust. It's more tactile. There's a real sense of connection with the said physical book, and you don't have that screen light piercing your eyeballs. And so the thing about books is that your imagination is engaged, even though it's like a script, but some part of your imagination is creating everything. And so sometimes where you watch a film adaptation, it's like, I didn't think Dave would be that fat.
The book was always better.
Yeah, I saw him skinny and without a beard. So there is the comeback as well.
So I was only about a third of the way through answering your question, Monty. Can I get back to it?
Yes.
So there's the book writing. I'm in negotiations with 2 postdoctoral fellows from 2 different Ivy League universities don't say them out loud, Monty. They've asked for some privacy, right? 2 Ivy League universities to do a study at Stardust Ranch. So I brought Jan Edmonds in, and we're negotiating that now. And we want first access to the data, and to do an addendum to our book and a second edition. But this would be cool. Yeah. So what they're looking for now, I think, is the frequency to open the portals, and they're going in there. But anyways, and one of the professors has done similar work at Skinwalker, so he wants a basis of comparison. But 2 of the top universities and postdoctoral fellow, it's really weird to wake up and you got a LinkedIn message from a postdoctoral fellow from such and such a university. Hi, Bruce. Yes. Wanted to discuss Stardust Ranch with you. Really? Hi? The fuck? Oh, yeah.
Frack. He said frack. But I only know one of the Ivy League schools, and it's where Bullwinkle went to. It's What's the Matter You? Very prestigious. So well done, sir.
Thank you. And what else is going on? So, and about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, this NGO came up here. Now, if you don't know what an NGO, folks, is, it stands for non-governmental organization. And this is one that works in Latin America with rural communities to get sustainable economies going. So we had a big community meeting at my house last Monday, and I got tasked with writing the business plan, which is about 60 pages. but they're gonna invest money in this community. But it's so this whole thing is going on the mountain where we're trying to bring everybody together and find out what they can do for the business. And basically, we're going to try and create tourism up here and a massive expansion on the Abaca project, and including ancillary things like weaving. My work is through the roof, like my work, which like you do this, you get paid this much from Canada. That's going really, really well since I took the partnership. My commission has started. I had to wait 6 months to get paid when I went from an employee to a partner, right? It's all, I only have 12% equity, but I had to wait 6 months because these applications take like 4 months to get through Rev Canada, more if they get audited, and then they have 30 days to turn the money over to the client, and the client has 30 days to turn the money over to the company that did their application. So the community is going well here in Costa Rica. It was great to get together with the whole community and talk things out for 3 hours. My work is going fantastic. My creative life is going fantastic. Marriage and all the kids here, my nieces and nephews, things are really happening here. And I'm going to put it all back into this community. I'd like to do a number of projects over the next few years. I want to get a little boxing gym up here because these kids are tough and they've seen a lot of shit already, right? And they got to work out their demons.
Well, if you live, just the natural side of things where they live in a jungle or just on the edge of a jungle, so a bit of stamina would be good. And then you've got all the geopolitical, no, not just the political, social, just stuff.
Narco trafficking in my province.
Yeah, all the little things like, hardcore drug trafficking. Yeah, just, like maybe a bit of a combination, left one, left two. You should have an outdoor cinema and you can show all the Rocky films, including Creed 1 and 2, just for inspiration. And teach them all English so when I turn up, I don't feel like an idiot.
Yeah, they know a few words already. They'll tell you to F off as soon as they see you and then giggle.
Nice. The important ones first.
The ones under 12, Monty.
I was going to say, and how old are you?
Probably rob you, but when they find out you're there to visit me, they'll give you your shit back. But they'll probably the ones over 12 probably rob you.
Just practicing, senor. Just practicing. Senor Bruce is a friend of mine. Yes.
Yeah, they're very stealthy. Very, very stealthy.
Yes. So anyway. is that the list of how Bruce equals awesome, or is there any more?
Life's going good for me, and it's in complete contradiction to the COVID lockdown and everything. So I feel that this is part of the spiritual dividend of the risk I took in coming over here. So it's starting to pay off. Anytime you put energy into anything in life, folks, it's going to return. And I know that's a business model and everybody's down on business and everything. But look, our reality is a commercial structure. We exchange emotions, we exchange thoughts, we exchange goods and services. It's a giant commercial construct. Cells exchange with each other through osmosis. Everything is commercial. It's exchanges, right? So get out there and mix it up and sell your wares and do what you're going to do. And, if you're an artist, do your art and sell your art. And like I said, I mean, my last real message on Rev Radio before I went off air was, as dark as everything looks, there's this tremendous grace now if you can find the clarity to see it and feel it. And that grace will fuel your dreams. If you have a dream, it's like that God energy will meet you halfway, and your probability of manifesting something is infinitely higher now than it was 10 years ago. Something has really changed. Nobody's talking about this. Everybody, because our narrative is dominated by, Pharaoh Christians and religiously programmed morons. Nobody can see the beauty because they've all been conditioned through their books to see the end of the world. And the next thing you know, it becomes a fetish and you're picking through shit to look at corn and you wonder what happened with your spiritual life. Stop reading that book.
And then in the next life, they go, no, actually, that was it back there. Sorry, buddy.
Well, you have to diversify. Like at the start of last year, 2020, and I like to thank the universe for so many things. But here are two of them. It's like I'm going to start a business, and I'm thinking about starting dating. Lockdown, Universe. Well played, Universe. Thanks for that. Yes, but I started with a YouTube channel, and as of yesterday, this is the list. Wafer Thin Entertainment is basically my thing. It's my production company. Blah blah blah. Wafer Thin Entertainment is on YouTube, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, PocketNet, Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitch, BitChute, Twitter, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Instagram.
Holy moly!
Yeah,
that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Certain words that we can't say on this radio station, but yes. So that's me, and just as with the help of Bruce, obviously, because he wrote the book with John Edmonds. The audio book for Stardust Ranch is soon to be released on the waiting public. They're not. Let's be fair. There's well, when is it? So it's not in our hands. I've given it to the masters, and they're putting it out. And I've started working on the next book that Bruce asked me to do, which I finished today. And I'm like, wow.
Cool. Let's talk about that a little bit. So this is my second book with Robert Wiegand, the Navy SEAL, CIA contractor, and Palo Mayombe initiate, the darkest, nastiest black magic, blood magic on the planet. He's out of that now. He turned in his urns. If you're not, maybe 1% of people listening understand what that means. But fascinating guy, great personality, great sense of humor, obviously turning a leaf, wanting to tell his story, add his chorus. But Light of Darkness is really about the nasty stuff. It's if you don't have Abrahamic karma, don't read it, all right? Because it's really the underbelly of and the magical construct behind the Abrahamic theology. And if I haven't been abundantly clear about this in the past, folks, let me eradicate all doubt. The entire Abrahamic system is mind control. It's an Anunnaki construction. Okay, the only anomaly might be Jesus, but I've yet to meet a Christian that can focus on the Gospels. Sooner or later, they're back into the Jew poison. They're back into the Old Testament and the prophecies and all this shit. And whatever grace Christ had to offer them, they lose. Okay? And sorry, Monty, for going religious on your program here, but
better outlining.
Hang on, I'll just wheel in this pulpit. This will help you. There you go, sir. Podium for MacDonald. Podium for one, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's in the book, so yeah, you sort of have to explain. Don't give away too much because people need to read it. So, or listen.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The Sanhedrin and the Vatican and various other organizations on the planet have been steeped in the darkest magic you can imagine since, I guess we start off, like one of the last chapters in Stardust Ranch gets into this. So, David Icke talks about the reptilians. So what is the reptilian heritage on the planet? It's the black magic, folks. That comes from the reptilians. That's reptilian technology. And it is technology. It works. Okay. Oh, it can't hurt me. Jesus protects me. You're the easiest mark out there because you're an idiot. Let me tell you right now. And
good marketing. Yeah.
It's the very fact that we live in a society like the one we live in, or you guys live in Australia, and the North Americans listening, is all the evidence I need offer that you're susceptible to magic because you're living in it and you're tolerating it.
Yes. Well, we're tolerating it, but we're still umming and ahhing.
Everyone is, but they don't know they are really.
Yeah, well, to quote Nick Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, talking about when there were, I think when Roger Waters left the band, it's like it nearly got that bad. We nearly said something. We're at that stage where you got that Australian apathy of like, Cortek, I think we need to have a word with a couple of people.
Yeah.
It's that apathy and putting up with, but it keeps pushing that energy and time to put on some cranky pants. I think.
Oh, watch out!
Yeah, geez, the dummy has been spat and he's putting on the old cranky pants.
Is he just threatening to? Usually, just threatening to is enough.
Well, no, it's getting to the point. Well,
I mean, I've got my own little pet peeves where the stuff that we've been talking about for a decade has finally hit the mainstream alternative or mainstream. And it's like, well, I've been talking about this for, everyone's like, oh my God, they can't do this. It's like, yeah, I know. You didn't listen to me. And now you've come to the same conclusion and you still want to acknowledge that I exist. Who are you? That's my point. Did you see that? Now, there's a YouTuber, Bruce. You may have not seen this because I don't know if it popped up on your radar. You could be doing your news fast, and it's like, I wonder if there's a connection. Awesome life, not watching the news. There's a YouTuber from Sydney called Friendly Geordies. Jordan Shanks. He's being sued by the Deputy Premier of New South Wales. And the Deputy Premier of New South Wales, through a Special Persons Unit terrorism squad, got Jordan's producer arrested. And
what does Jordan talk about?
Basically corruption in government.
Yeah, every single time there's just obvious cases of corruption in state politics, pretty much, which is what state politics is about. It's about getting in there with your other kind of slimy friends and taking advantage of it. Well, it's just it happens over and over again.
And he says he's a journalist, but he's also a comedian, and he's been doing sketches for 5-6 years. He's up to nearly 500,000 or 1 million people watching. He's got a large audience. He does live shows, and they sell out, and so he can talk for an hour and doing comedy. And
so basically, one of the state premiers who he accused of and has the evidence of this dude using his position, Barilaro, using his position to kind of basically steal a building and all this other stuff and inside trading and stuff. He has all that kind of stuff on him. But Barilaro has basically used his influence to say he was getting stalked and get one of those groups that was made after 9/11 with the shady names. This is shady kind of massive names that account to a whole bunch of vagueness about what they actually have to do. And he got totally pulled out of his house by these goons. Basically,
and his mum was basically assaulted, and but it's very Canadian, and no disrespect to you, Mr. MacDonald, but it's that level of I can't remember which comedian, but he said a joke, and did he do jail time or something? He had to pay a massive fine because he said a joke in Canada.
There's another case of this as well that's going on somewhere. I don't know where it was, but I saw the similarities between this and what's happening in Friendly Geordies. The government's really, I don't know, more so overstepping their bounds.
And also because they're allowed to do. The false reality here in Australia is we're free, and obviously there's consequences, blah blah blah. But then you have the police were given false information, and it's Barilaro.
They made a false report,
yeah, basically. And so it in the comedy world, it's like, I'm sorry, what? Even Count Dankula pointed it out because he's obviously part of the network, and it's especially what he went through because he lives in Scotland. If you thought Canada was unique, Scotland's got some really strange ideas about freedom of speech, and especially the UK, where you can be arrested and put into jail in holding cells because of a tweet.
It's called the Special Fixated Persons Unit or something like that.
It was created after
so vague.
It was created after the Lynn Cafe shooting, terrorist act, and so on and so forth. So
that was the biggest false flag I've ever seen it as well. Anyway, did you see 4 months before that they had in the dead of night they had a practice for it where they all stormed in?
Oh yeah, well that's normal false flag operations. They do that.
Oh my god.
We've been this. Let's see what happens now in Planet Collingwood. We've been joined by HiJacker. Are you in a comedic mood, sir?
Yeah, Bruce MacDonald. Somebody said he was passing out abuse, so I just want to call in and get some.
No, well, Bruce left because he doesn't want to engage. So, no, that's basically so.
Boy, I must have really rented his head out.
Well, no, I guess he doesn't want to continue doing the same thing over and over again. So. Yeah, free will and all that. So thank you, Bruce. And it happens all the time. So
wow, took a quick knee. I thought he'd at least say something, but man,
No, he just basically doesn't want to continue doing the same. It's all about energy. I've tasted licorice, and I didn't like licorice, so I don't eat licorice.
Neither the red or the black, huh?
What about like aniseed stuff?
No, not really a fan.
No, I can't do Zambuca after one heavy night on Zambuca. And that I might have had licorice before, but not now.
Well, see, the alcohol hides licorice, and after 3 drinks, it's like, oh. So there we go.
What's news, Jacker?
Well, we can talk about the most important thing, and that's what's around the corner for all of us.
Week 67 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Kicking the can down the road.
It's all locked into place. We do know it's going to happen.
We
pretty much know it's going to happen fairly soon.
Blue beam?
It's just what's going to happen.
Blue beam.
No, it's the vaccine depopulation angle.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
now, somebody's come up with a new theory that in 2014 they did a movie. I think, and the movie was played in Britain. It was a TV series, lasted 1 year. And the whole theme of the movie is these billionaires get together, they figure out how to come up with a virus.
Yeah, it's called Utopia. I spoke about that at the start of the year.
Right.
The American version only did 1 season. It was shown during 2020. Strangely, it got cancelled because it was a bit too close to what was going on.
Was that like the copy of Australian Utopia?
No, completely different. That's a satire. Utopia from England was like 2013, 2014, and there's a cabal, secret people who want to save the planet, and they fake a virus so everyone can get a vaccine which makes you sterile.
Classic.
So
Classic. Just muddying up search terms for everyone. The old TV business. It's only what it's good for these days. Making movies and TV shows that actually muddy up the search terms and busy the search terms for people searching stuff that's important.
Yeah, I keep seeing I can't remember the name of the comedian because she's not funny, but Sarah someone, and she's got a show called Full Frontal, and every Australian's like the sketch comedy show from the 90s, and it's just names get reused over and over again. So, but it's wait and see. Like my dad and stepmom have had the jab and they had no adverse reactions, and so it's wait and see because everyone's different. The virus may be the same, but everyone else is different. So we'll see where it may be not a mass die off, but it could be infertility. They can't have kids. I can't think of the word.
Infertility. I think most of it's kind of placebo and stuff like that, but there'll be a lot of data coming in from if you win the lucky dip to get the magnet one, or
the information war was really kicked off because everyone, just the all the treatments to help stop COVID. It's not a cure, but it to help stop is coming out now. And some people said, we didn't want to say back when the president said it because we didn't want to be sort of Trump's. It's all political. It's nothing to do with health. And so it's a shit show. You'll be hearing that a lot. It's basically what's going on. I know you're in. We didn't get to what's been happening in your world, Cortek, because you're in Sydney-ish. Sydney's a large place, but
there's more reports of more cases and all this kind of stuff. Just when you get to the point where you go, so week 64, 65 of 20, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Maybe we weren't right about that in initial synopsis. Let's have a look at the data. That was bad.
Let me get this straight. So the United States is pretty much totally and completely out of lockdown or mandates. I think Whitner today from the governor of Michigan ended the mask mandate at exactly 12 noon, and then everybody at work could take their masks off, finally. So, but you're saying to me that Australia is still in lockdown and got mask mandates, that type of thing?
Only recently in the last week has there been cases reported, so you're flip-flopping back to doing it again after not being in it.
And of course, they came from Victoria. So Victoria is restrictions lessen on the midnight Thursday night, where we still have to wear masks inside if you're not at home, and they're easing off slowly, and because they're allowing travel, and that's how they can get in, and so it's constantly going on and on. UK is still in lockdown and looks like they're going to extend it for another 3 months or something ridiculous like that. So I'm fascinated how the United States is unique, where we'll get the vaccine and we've got masks and we're all opening up. It's like, well, if you have another wave go through, what's the reaction going to be?
How come after all those emails about masks, it's still people putting masks on?
That's the information thing where people either, oh, that's fake, because everything's fake news, even though you tell the truth. And, I mean, Fauci's out there saying, oh, it's attack on science. It's like, what, we're pointing out that you lied. How is that an attack on science?
I am science.
Yeah. And it is completely just getting a mess where the truth is not really getting out there, or it gets ignored. And mind you, the tide is turning, because people are turning on the woke, like Bill Maher is starting having a go at the leftists, the far left, like actual normal people who are central left because they move the goalposts, are pointing out like you're acting like idiots, because it's just ridiculous. And like in Victoria's Secret, they're getting rid of supermodels and they're getting diversity in.
I thought that was a parody. I thought that was a joke.
No.
That's Victoria's Secret cover with a whole bunch of kind of, I don't identify as anything, kind of looks on their faces. It's like, there goes Victoria's Secret.
Basically, it's like someone wants to fail business-wise. And so it's just ridiculous that this is why I try not to engage, but I have this show and I need something to talk about. Let's be fair. But yeah,
that's something along that line. That New Zealand man who thinks that he can call himself a girl these days and get into the Tokyo Olympics and compete against girls. It's like, what a pussy.
Basically, he didn't do well in the men's, so he says, I'm a woman, and he's doing really well because he went through puberty as a male and it has a male skeleton. I judge people on skeletons. I'm like a coroner. If you burn to death, I go by skeleton. It's a bit dark, but there's a joke there. And the Babylon Bee did a great article. It was like he twisted a testicle, or she twisted a testicle. So it's just getting ridiculous where...
I don't care what you want to call yourself, but that's just, some chicks work their whole life to develop skills to do kind of that stuff and compete and it's their whole life doing that stuff. And then for some fat idiot to get in there because he's too bored. Yeah. The rules have changed. I had that down. I went for it was a kind of like market research on quadcopters and stuff like that down at Google. I'm standing waiting for the lift to come, and this guy walks up. He's got a skirt on, this big fat beard, and I go, I just clocked him in a second. It's like, you've taken these new non-discrimination laws to a new level just to get a job in the mailroom. I'm not going to say good on you because you look like a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't say that, but you could just tell what was going on the whole time.
Well, yeah, you see videos like, they're trying to convert people to be gay. And it's like, it's a choice. It's like, hang on, you've been saying for decades or nearly a century, it's not a choice. You're destroying all your credibility. It's like, everyone's gay. Like, no, we're not. Strange that. And fat phobic. And the loudest are just, the insanity of all is just ridiculous. I actually came up with I'd rather be a clown in clown world, and that's what we're in. We're in clown world.
It's bizarre. I didn't see how everyone doesn't know that stuff about Fauci. How people could only be still looking at newspapers and free-to-air TV, which is thoroughly controlled.
People are the legacy media. No one is paying attention to it, and so the story didn't make traction. Where the powers that were or are, they need consent, and so we put it out there, and it didn't. It's not in the news cycle anymore. But we told you, it's like how many times have they said the UFOs are real? And it's this time this year that it got some traction in the media.
Something came out this year after being buried for 20 or 30 or 40 years or whatever it is, or 50 years, about little bodies being found. I heard. I saw.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's the in Canada they found like not
the school children like ETs.
Okay. Yeah, and with the stuff that I'm doing, like the audiobooks and all this information is like, well, aliens real. It's like you're way back there. Well, okay, we look at something as like, is it ours? And will there be an alien invasion? They've been here from the start, thousands of years ago, and they've been manipulating everything in a massive chess piece, and they feed off the negativity of the planet, and that's why you've got all this diversity, all that stuff. If you look at the 80s where multiculturalism is like, if you respect everybody, that works. But now it's one thing I've noticed about the United States. They still clump everyone into race and everything. Like here in Australia, there's a Greek community, but they know they're Australian. Does that make sense? Compared to like, I'm sure it's the same in New Zealand, Canada, but it's we're African American. So like, you're Americans, and if you want to have some fun, go on Twitter and watch Africans have a go at African Americans. I'm oppressed. It's like, no, you're not. Shut up, rich man. I
watched a good thing during the week with a guy called Dr. John Coleman. I'd never heard of him before. He's a British journalist kind of thing. But he was like doing speeches back in 94, 95. And there's a lot of stuff in there, basically outlining everything that's happening today.
Yeah, I mean, even John Pilger, like it's really weird where, we want transparency and truth. And yet if a whistleblower comes out, they get nailed to a tree. Julian Assange in WikiLeaks, he broke the law by exposing how you're breaking
atrocities.
The law. Yeah. Like, how is that? No, that doesn't work. It's just the level of insanity. And if you watch anyone from what's going on in the media, it's all fear-based, where today tragedy happened at the MCG, Collingwood won a game. Like, what really? It's just,
it's all just death and horror hour. And it does nothing for anyone, really.
And it's hard to move forward. The horror. It's just like I can get the whole idea that like Bruce puts forward, as well as Andrew Bartz's and other people of even Viking as well, where observe, don't engage, work on yourself. Save yourself, save the world. We don't know the true potential of humanity as a human, where you can actually create your own reality. And I think I've been practicing by staying on government benefits for most of my life and not getting caught.
2020 was the year really to learn not to get triggered by every different opinion out there, really, on social media for me.
So I think we're headed into extraordinary times. The people who can work through their own shit and not implode or explode in the next decade and a half, because there's going to be a lot of pressure to let go of stuff that doesn't work. And if you don't, the frequency is going to just reach a level where if you don't let go of it, you're going to become dangerous to yourself and to others. And everybody's got this stuff embedded in them, right? And it's just the process of slowly working through it and re-engaging life with a new perspective and living in the moment. But I mean, I think we're heading into an extraordinary time. I think the second half of the 21st century is going to be extraordinary. I think this is the true teaching of the apocalypse and the revealing, right? And all that has been secret will be made known. And if you have your eyes open now, you can see it happening all around you. Like everything, the only thing they're doing now is they're not officially endorsing disclosure, but the disclosures come out and what people make of it. And don't buy into any of this nonsense, right? Because the two hardest hit countries in the world right now are Australia and Canada in terms of draconian measures in the lockdown, humiliating people, pepper spraying people, forceful arrests of pastors. And it's really taking place in Australia and Canada. The fight's not... They haven't really ramped up in America yet. Nobody's talking about the Great Reset. It's openly being talked about in Canada. What about Australia?
Not so much.
Not so much. Yeah, they sort of hinted at it, and everyone's like, "Yeah, right." It's
run by the same people. How's that going to work? How's that going to benefit us?
It's more of we're trying. We want to go back to normal, but there's a lot of not backlash, but there's a tipping point because of like our politics is just like you see more organisation in a pig pen, and the pigs have diarrhea. It's like
That's just so they can eat more.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to bore a lot of people, including Australians, but we now have a new Deputy Prime Minister because the government is actually a coalition between the Liberals, who are conservative. Yeah, only in Australia where Conservatives are called Liberal, but you also have the Nationals, who used to be the Country Party. Now, they were called the National Party, but they condensed it down to Nats, so I'm quite glad they weren't called the Country Party when they condensed that down. That's a thinking joke. Moving on. But Barnaby Joyce, who had an affair with one of his PAs or something like that, one of his assistants.
Barnaby Joyce.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch Sean McCall's Mad as Hell as well. I like that. But yeah, he basically left his family for his bit on the side, and now somehow he's the deputy prime minister again. And they're like, it's getting to that point where Andrew Bartz has said for a long time it's going to turn into a Three Stooges sketch, and then I said, yeah, but it's been written by Monty Python. I think we've gone up to a level of like, what the hell is this? It's like a Greek tragedy on steroids.
Greek tragedy has peaks, though. Oh,
I think
something happened. We're here.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't tell. Something happened just then, or was it Bruce?
No. Well, no, we're still on. Apparently, it's just who knows? There's squabbling going on. We're getting drama again. So I think, Bruce apparently was removed by Studio A, and HiJacker's in, but he's on pause. So,
pause.
Yeah, it's basically you know when mum and dad fight, that's what I'm sort of feeling, and I just want to have a comedy show and laugh, but we have to deal with all this chicanery, which is a word I cannot spell. Let's be fair.
Give it a go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We used to thank you, Flippy, and lost Bruce and his background noise. Yeah, that's I was used to that sort of hissing in the background. Yeah, so I find it. See, it's back again. So, well, yeah. See,
I'm back.
Yeah, it's just getting a drama. I'm tired. I'm so over it. I've got my own drama going on in my personal life. I don't in my professional life. So.
Well, surely we can have a round table and talk and, kiss my ass, you piece of shit.
Oh, I can't. So you may get banned from the station by talking like that.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Oh, now it's good. All right. See now HiJacker is somehow on pause, which is I find weird because he's not on the call. So. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. So it's interesting. So yeah, we're not. Bruce is not coming back, and so but if I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to add HiJacker, mainly because it says he's here on pause. So like I don't.
Yeah, I've
understand.
never seen that pause symbol before. That's kind of weird.
So what if I just remove him from the call and then add him again? I'm just getting in before someone gets upset. So like, all right, now and there, yeah, and then add. Right, so we're calling. So
yeah, that was your moment of zen, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Drama at its pointlessness. So, Jacker, are you there? You're on mute.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened. I all of a sudden just got knocked off. How's that done?
I think Bruce just removed you from the conversation.
Oh, really? He's got that kind of power? Really? Wow. What?
Well, anyone
Boy,
does, if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh.
I can hear myself in a slight echo as well, HiJacker. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe I got to close a window. Man, I must have really rented his head, sort of like the postman. You know, remember that guy that ran that gang, and he got in a fight with a guy that wanted to take over, and he ended up ripping his balls off, and he didn't say anything. He just followed him around, never said nothing. So I mean, I must have really got to his head. But let me see if I can fix this echo, because I had to call back twice.
Yeah, the joys of Skype. So there. Anyway. So, hang on. Everyone's coming in 3 minutes before the break, so this will be fun. Why doesn't... there we go. We've also been joined by the mechanic. I think Cortek, you should be called the Cortek, and I'll be called the Mont. Everyone should have a the in front of their name. Or is it the?
It's like me with the Australian version being called Sir.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mechanic, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, the level of garbage that I'm with you. I hear you, Delta. I'm with you 100%, Delta. I got you on this 100%. Monty, thanks for having me on. Really do appreciate it. Really do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just here for a chinwag, and I've been doing this for many years. So it's basically
you better not give me a hall pass, Delta. Hey, Cortek.
Hey.
And we got Jacker. Yeah, Bruce, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Anyway,
I said
this is a comedy show, not a soap opera.
Yeah, it's a comedy show. Speaking of comedy, Jacker, how you doing?
Wow, you're right, Monty. This is a lot of drama. This is starting to turn into good radio.
No, it's not good radio. It turns people off. I keep telling you.
It's starting to feel like team sports.
I called in to rescue. So listen, I got all kinds of things lined up here. I'm ready to run some content when you guys are. I mean, look, this is. Let's do it. I mean, let's give me 3 minutes. I got Biden basically putting a bounty on patriots. This is real shit. This is true communism in America right now, and we're going back and forth. With this garbage?
And we have another guest popping on as well. So, you're listening to Planet Collingwood, the the Octagon edition, and we shall return after this small massage, and we'll try and get the yucks up. Bit of comedy, bit of laughter, and vote banana.
It is not my show. But I will grab this mic. You are listening to Monty Dean.
I go to the toilet and everything goes to pot.
I think they cut the break short, Monty.
That was a quick break. That was a super quick break.
I can't urinate that fast, damn you.
I think you got a joke played on YouTube.
It's like a man has needs, wants, and desires. And quite frankly, when the bloke says, "Hey, I'm full," I need, want, and desire to remove said anyway. But it's a comedy show. But mechanic, if you've got the talking stick, let's go for a run.
Yeah. Hey, look, a lot of my delirium has turned into comedy. I find myself laughing out loud by myself. just watching the general public and their nonsense.
It's a good coping mechanism, if you noticed.
Look, I will be in tears in a couple of months, I'm sure. But right now, these people are a laughing stock, and I'm taking full advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Hang on. This is why I need a producer. I'm male. I only do one thing. Oh yes. Well, we've been joined by another Please welcome the Viking.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Viking, man. Listen,
hey.
you got a bit of a comical hopium for us tonight.
I don't know. We'll kind of toss it around and see what happens.
I'm interested, man.
I'm always got hopium. I'll tell you that. I mean that's my gig, right?
I tell you what. Listen, I like Viking stuff. He's we're not on the same page about a few things, but I like Viking stuff. He's a real
and that's
down
the
to
fun
earth.
part.
I mean, maybe he's not so down to earth. I mean, he is down to earth, but he's not down to earth. Like not in the sense of being down to earth, right? Does anybody know what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also good to have different points of view because we are the center of our own universes, and it's fun to have conversations with other people. It's like, wait, you're saying you can put cheese on bread and you can toast it? Tell me more about this. You know what I mean? This is how ideas. Yeah, and if people argue about pineapple on pizza, and I can't stand anchovies on pizza. You find out what you like. Go ahead, Mike.
I had pineapple stir fry.
So my latest downloader algorithms is because we just had the solstice.
Oh yes,
and the Mercury retrograde has ended, and the Schumann resonance has gone into a whole new level of your engagement here. That we are entering a brand new. I mean, I'm talking about you drop a marker right now. We are entering into a brand new expression of life. I mean, this is going to go into arenas all across the board: geopolitical, geoeconomic. Your dogmatic, pragmatic structure.
Can you give me an example of how it transfers, Viking?
Explain transfer.
Like it goes between the nations. It goes between religions. And it's all just going to be magically accepted by everybody.
I didn't say that. I said we're going into a transition. It's a brand new expression.
I'll shut up and listen. Go ahead.
It's a brand new expression here. Where all that we thought we need to be true is going to be put to test. As far as a new concept or conceptual way of understanding life as we know it, or how we can now express it, rather than being subjugated in lockstep in this dystopic reality. Because that's where we've been for the past 10,000 years since the fall of Atlantis. We are breaking the mold. It's happening through actually all this disruptions and all the false flags and all the all this bullshit that's happening here. The deep state is to the point where it's falling apart. All of their ruses are falling apart. They're not working, and they're trying everything they can to keep it alive. But what's happening is that the main focus here is people are waking up. On their own level, again, all across the board, people are waking up to some aspect of the fact that this has been a huge hoax and lie. And because of this, we've actually hit a tipping point where it's going to start to manifest in realms where it's no longer going to be in the subjugated state because it's only been real because people have believed it to be real. That's reality.
True.
Reality is dictated by what you believe to be true. But when you start to understand
I'm not on board with that. But
but changing of sorry, Viking. If you just cigarettes are good for you, and then you find out they're bad for you. That's one aspect. It's just when you learn a new idea. Like I can't because I own a car. That's about it. But you're a mechanic. You could probably pull the car apart and rebuild it and not have anything left over. I would make a complete mess of that. But, as you're learning
I'd have about 14 spare nuts and bolts that I didn't know where.
You two stay away from my car and my garage.
Exactly, yeah. But as you were learning to be a mechanic where, okay, this is how this is. Now, if we put a fuel injection in, it's that you can't. And Viking, help me out if I got the analogy right. You've got your normal combustible engine and it works, but if you add a fuel injection, it improves it's that little idea that you add your that little idea, your consciousness grows even more and it changes everything. Does that make sense?
Well, there is one big change that's been revealed, which is a complex political variable that kind of meshes up with what Viking's talking about. And that's what happened this solstice, this Monday, this last Monday, longest day of the year, maybe a couple days before, but it has now been revealed that the spy master of China has been in the protective custody of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA. And they say he's got so much information that he's basically said that all parts of your government are infiltrated. What's that?
Is this rents?
No.
Where did the information come from, HiJacker?
It's all over the place. Just check out Wei.
It's all
Wei
over the
Spy
place.
Master.
Okay.
Right. And he brought terabytes of information with him. And now it comes down to, if there are a real patriotic military left, what are they going to do with this information now that they know that literally the communist Chinese pretty much, along with the deep state, have completely locked up literally every institution in the United States. So whatever that means, we got that.
Everything's corrupt.
That's
basically.
funny you say that.
Go ahead.
At the same time, they stripped the .com abilities from specific websites or social media websites throughout Europe, in some portions of Europe.
Also in the Middle East, they have shut down.
Yes, and in fact, it started in Iran.
Right, exactly.
It started in Iran.
They've gone into the countries, and the United States or the media or the powers that be, Google, whatever, shut down social media in Iran. I mean, this is where
that sounds like Nasara.
Yeah, right. Well, they just had a huge election there, and of course, it was subverted by this idiot that is pro radicalism. I believe that they're just trying to get a hold on that. Here's another note. As of this weekend, the International Bank, ICB, International whatever it is, did away with all debt as far as banks and mortgages.
Yeah. Everybody, okay. Tell me, is this the case? I got a question.
In Iraq. So that's kind of like a hinting on the beginning of this Jassara and Nasara act that we've all
exactly
talked about.
Yeah.
Right, but what the qualifier is, as far as they're not banning, or they're not, preventing people from going onto social media, whatever. No, what we're talking about is they are actually pulling the plug on the IP address.
Right.
That would be like
they can't connect.
Right. That would be like Revolution Radio. Right. Getting their plug pulled. You wouldn't even have a radio station anymore. It would be over.
That's right.
I mean, that's how serious they're getting.
It's bizarre. And Japan, as well as Russia, we know that last week Russia started selling off all of its petro assets, the U.S. petrodollar assets, and then and now Japan is dumping all of its American petrodollar assets,
which is mainly in the form of bonds. They've invested in bonds, and now they're selling their bonds back.
And then what country just made Bitcoin their?
Was it a South American country?
Their currency.
Israel. Israel. They're wacky. It's like with the whole vaccine stuff. Oh no, I'm slightly deviating from the conversation.
Let's not say they're wacky, but their regime is wacky. But
yes. I'm not talking about the people. They just had a
regime change there. They got rid of Netanyahu. He's gone.
Right, and then the other big thing is that China.
Didn't hear about that.
Now China has basically said all Bitcoin, none of Chinese banks or institutions will now take Bitcoin.
Exactly.
None of the exchange houses are permitted to basically.
Bitcoin is going to go down to zero.
Well, it dropped below 30.
Dropping like a lead balloon.
You watch. It's going to go and straight up obliterate.
Yeah, because certain people in the financial sector cannot control it.
But I just want to go back to my original statement here that this is part of what I'm saying. We're going into a whole new field across the board. I mean, it's going to be life as we have never seen it. It's going to change in ways that is unimaginable in technology and geopolitical, geoeconomic, our social structure, our health, the planet, everything is going to be changing.
Yeah, they're going to be putting med beds in every hospital.
Not yet. Eventually, but not yet. It's going to take 18 months. So so what I'm seeing here is that we because of the disclosure that's going to be occurring, I've always said that mankind is broken up into three groups. There's 1, 2, and 3. There's light workers. There's people that are awakening because of the atrocities of the scamdemic and the false flags. They're seeing the truth. And then there's the third wavers that are kind of stuck in the mud, that don't want to see it, want to all go back to normal. And the disclosure is going to cause a huge ripple effect that's going to cause it's going to be very turbulent for the next 18 months. I mean, completely off the wall as we go through this transition. This huge transition is going to occur. And, as I said, the dark is already lost. They're gone. The deep state is defeated. And it's just a matter of time before. I mean, we all see the train going off the track, but they're still seeing their illusory timeline of the train on the track. But the train has careened off and crashed, and there's no way that they can recover here because there's too many. Because they only had control with their false dystopic belief and implants, all the AI implants and programmings that we have been subjugated to since school and college, and believing that politicians are right and doctors are right is all coming to an end.
So what's going to come next? Delta variant lockdowns or a climate emergency lockdown?
I don't think we're going to get either. Those timelines have been exposed. Let's say they've been exposed to the point where, I mean, here in California, last week they took away the mask, but unless if you got vaccinated, you can no longer wear a mask. Well. But you can walk into the bank or the store, which I've always worn.
First of all, it's illegal to wear a mask in a bank in California.
Well, I'm just saying it's not my bank, right? So the only times I've ever worn a mask during this whole time has been my bank and store. And now you walk in, and despite the fact that you had to be vaccinated, nobody's asking. No one's asking if you're vaccinated.
Nope, nobody wants to take the risk.
So here we're in a whole new. Where everybody now is basically has left it behind, and there's no way in hell that they're going to do another variant. It's not going to work. I mean, that's not going to work.
Definitely not going to work in Texas or South Dakota or Florida. I can tell you that much right now. Every day I wake up and look at my news alerts. It's DeSantis. DeSantis right now today passed legislation. With this, this council there supports legislation to enforce American civic values, how we came about, the framers, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Furthermore, the dangers of communism in America.
Right.
Well, if I can just connect it to Victoria, we actually have to log in with a QR code, which is using our mobile phone, and it's the contact tracking system every time we go into like a store, a bank, or a supermarket. And so basically we're all being tracked. It's under the guise of health, but it's communism light.
Oh, for sure, 100.
It's actually Big Brother. It's beyond communism. This goes back to Orwell.
It's global governance.
And it's interesting.
Big Brother watching you.
Yes, it is. The better way of saying it. And simple, it's like
all these politicians, all these global leaders now. If you take a look at them, they've been doing this for a while, but it's becoming even more prevalent. They're changing their titles from prime minister, governor, to just politician. That's it.
Yeah, it's all part of
everything is being set up and directed towards this one world government. they're going to do it.
They're not doing it, mechanic. The Facebook is doing it.
The big tech, well, actually, here in HiJacker, here in Victoria, I'm not sure that it's happening in New South Wales. Is it Cortek? But here in Victoria, the government has gone for non-genderfied words when you speak to people.
Yeah,
that's big here.
Is it a crime yet?
No, it'll get there. Don't worry. I'm wondering now because
this is ridiculous.
I'm glad I spoke over that word. But you are correct. It is, clown. You thought it was clown words. Like, no. This is just going to ramp up into ludicrous. If you notice your Spaceballs, ludicrous speed. We've gone plaid, ladies and gentlemen.
The whole trend, being able to compete in the other sexes, physical events. It's just the height of ridiculousness.
Yeah. Well, now, obviously, let's mention freedom because our website is Freedom Slips, and it's slipping. In freedom, you don't want a small group of people dictating to the rest of the populace, do you? Now, what we're getting is I understand the whole. We are diverse, but they're pushing it into a political ideology, and we're being dictated to by less than 1% of the population.
I got a video I want to play for everybody. It's not too long, but it is absolute fire.
Do it.
It's a guy from the UK, and this dude is I think he might be I think they call them civil workers there, or civic work, not necessarily public
civil servants.
Civil servants, right? Yeah. Okay, so I also have, by the way, Mark Sexton. I have his video going to the police. Let's see. Where did this guy go? You know what? I lost him. I lost it. Wait a minute. What?
Don't worry, it's all right.
No?
It's Planet Collingwood. We have all production is in front of the curtain. We're not really magicians because we show everyone how the trick works.
It's this English guy who absolutely loses it, and he's probably it's probably for the best that I lost it because I'm pretty sure there's some vulgarity in there.
Yeah,
that's not going to be censored.
Well, it's getting to that point where it's been people are getting pushed to the breaking point on basic things. Where
sure.
At the G7
on both sides though.
Oh yeah, everyone's getting niggly. It's just ramping up the drama, and if you remember 20 minutes ago,
I have some testimony from a vaccine patient that usually does a broadcast. This guy was kind of coerced into taking it, and it's not a vaccine, but I think this guy's probably worth a hear. I stumble on these things all the time. I don't just save them for nothing. And this guy, he's suffering, and you could tell from the video he's suffering. And I think this guy's on his way out, and you could just tell, dude. I'll let you decide for yourself. Here we go. Verbal is going to be a big enough impact. Well, I'll drop the link in chat. See, you guys see my screen? We see the guy over here.
I can.
Right? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna drop this in chat. See, you guys can watch along with us.
For whatever reason, when I try and share a screen, every time I try and share a screen, it doesn't work. So I don't know if I've sacrificed a small animal to the right internet god, but I know yours works. So
yeah, I just put a new I just hooked this laptop up. I got a new hard drive. I got a bunch of new stuff. So all right, here we go.
Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. I wanted to take a moment to share something with everyone in America. And, not just America, because I see this happening, or it's going to happen, all across planet Earth. So here's what just happened. For those of you that don't know, and many people that follow me are aware, that I suffered a TBI. Which stands for traumatic brain injury. The doctor that I have been seeing for this, his name is Timothy Best, B-E-S-T, here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. He is a neurosurgeon, and he treats patients that have any type of brain issues. In my case, my TBI is mimicking Alzheimer's. Now, I don't have Alzheimer's, but for whatever reason, it's mimicking it. So I'm on medication that Alzheimer's patients take to help improve my memory and hopefully to help me out in many other ways as I go through life and get older. So my medication is running out and it's time to renew the script.
Yeah, this is when it gets.
So I have an appointment set up for this coming Monday to see Dr. Best. And Dr. Best has been treating me for, about 6 years now, I guess. He's a civilian doctor. He's not part of the VA. I don't see the VA for this, and you can just assume why. You don't want to see the VA for anything major, such as your brain. Anyhow, they called me today, his office did, and asked me if I had received the COVID vaccination. And I said, no, and I'm not going to. And they said, well, we're sorry to tell you, but we're no longer going to see any patients unless they have the COVID vaccine. Now, think about this for a moment. If he gets away with this, and he's going to, why?
So this is a veteran being denied access to health for a lack of an experimental gene therapy jab. America. Yep. This is America. But you get the drift, right? I mean,
yeah. There's like from the entertainment world to add to this, Foo Fighters they opened Madison Square Garden, but only allowed people that had the vaccine or any vaccine to go in. And there were fans saying, well, we can't get the vaccine because we're medically excused because it will be detrimental to our health, and they're not allowed to get in. At the same time, Bruce Springsteen is doing, and this is the weird, it gets a little bit weirder. Bruce Springsteen on Broadway is doing some shows, blah, 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 but he's not allowing any – you can come in if you have the vaccine unless you have the AstraZeneca one. They're not allowing people that have that one because it's not recognized by the FDA. So it's not even just vaccine and unvaccinated. It's like you have to have the right vaccine. And this is the ridiculousness of what's going on.
They want everybody to have those two generalized. They want everybody to have the Moderna or the Pfizer. Let's get to it. That's what they want.
So that's the British Airlines required all their pilots to be vaccinated. So 80% got vaccinated. And then all of a sudden,
four dead, right? 5 dead. Go ahead.
Yeah, 4 or 5 that they know that they're admitting to are dead. We're talking about 30-year-olds just dead. And now their insurance company is not paying out, is not going to pay out any of these compensations if they're vaccinated. And now they can't fly because when you fly or you get altitude, you get blood clots.
Yes.
So now they're grounding
400
pilots.
flights.
Yeah, they're grounding.
Didn't that happen in the United States? Sorry to interrupt. Didn't a United States airline the air travel's picking up and there's airlines are canceling flights. It's like, well,
they're canceling flights, but also they're not. Before you couldn't fly unless you're vaccinated. Now you can't fly if you're vaccinated because it's causing blood clots.
It's going in reverse. Holy.
Yeah, it's just again, it's backfiring. The whole thing is backfiring, and this is part of what I'm saying. So this kind of disclosure are waking people up, and this is gonna create a temporal rift in all of these timelines that have been in play, and they're falling apart. They're literally falling apart.
What I do think, I just had remembered there, like talking of Australia, we're 50%, like only 50, like the goal I think is supposed to have 13 million people having been vaxxed, or 13 million shots per day, but we're only halfway, we're less than halfway there. So Australians are sort of like umming and ahhing. Our acting premier here in Victoria, it almost sounded like a threat, but he said to get rid of lockdowns, we need 70% of the population vaccinated. And what I find interesting is as information it breaks through into the mainstream, where like what 80% of what Trump said was true, with the treatments to help out and all this other stuff, but it's been ignored because they still think it's February 2020. And everyone's going to die if you have this. Do you know how many people have died from the COVID vaccine in Australia this year in the last nearly 6 months?
No.
1. Do you know how many people have died from adverse reactions to the vaccine this year?
More than 1?
Over 300.
Right. Well,
that's time we have a look at the data again.
That's on the onset. That's on the onset. I mean, there's sterility. I mean, God, the complications that are occurring here are going to be rippling out for months. I mean, this is only the beginning.
Yeah. And the way I disengage with it, free will, but yeah, a lot of people are going to be very upset. Like I with another group of people, I can't really say their name on air because it's rude, but I'll call them the Unfrackers. They do a astrological show, and the last 3 months of this year, they can see now with astrology, it's potential. It's not actually this will happen. It's potential. It's about energy and potential. And Viking, wondering, I can bring you in and see if you're seeing something similar. Even Cliff High has mentioned with his research that the last 3 months of the year are going to be very dark emotionally, and basically the shit show is going to go up a gear.
No, as I said, drop a flag right from this point on, this very point on, we're going into a whole new precept of life, and it's going to get turbulent due to disclosure, due to people waking up and seeing the shit show that's been happening. And I'm not saying that the last 3 months. From this point, for 18 months, we're going to get this turbulence as the third waivers and the second waivers start to wake up and see really what's been taking place. And that's not to say it's going to get worse. No, people like on this roundtable here that already know and see it are going to actually find a reclamation of life. But people that are seeing for the first time, oh my God, it's like it's gonna get really bad, because a lot of people are going to resist it, and they're going to start not believing it and committing suicide. So let's take it's going to be for this group, the second, the third waivers here that are being challenged. They're still believing everything is real. They still believe this whole thing is, and then when they go back to normal, are going to be severely challenged, and we're going to be taking the brunt. They're going to be looking at us and just coming unglued. You got to be very careful with the people around you coming unglued. Yes.
Yeah. What they got to do is they need to bring in something which is going to be so incredible, so much of a distraction. It's going to suck up all the oxygen. I mean, they need the mother of all. And guess who that would be if they decided to bring
Bluebeam? Do it, Bluebeam.
No.
Donald Trump.
No.
Let HiJacker finish his sentence.
Orange Man.
Well,
if Orange Man came
Arizona is weeks away from having a full out blowout of the election.
Donald Trump changes the landscape completely.
He has not conceded. He's still out there, and if Arizona falls, they're finding there's more votes than the state of Arizona, and they're coming in. And they're coming in with your dog's name on it, and your dead grandmother, and mail-in votes that have been folded. What I
love about that, sorry, Viking. What I love about that, to add to that, is that the Democrats saying, "Oh, this audit into the election is an attack on democracy." It's like checking the result.
Yes, illegal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how is checking the result bad for democracy?
Did you guys hear the Alexa? The Alexa, I think it came out yesterday. It was a TikTok, and she asked Alexa what day and year it was. So gave the date, right? It was accurate, and then she goes, "Who's the president of the United States?" And it said the date again, and it said Donald Trump. Alexa.
Well, this goes back to the whole thing about when you're talking about the United States. It's not the United States. This regime is president of the United States of America Incorporated. There again, I mentioned before, we live in a bifurcated reality. There are two camps, absolutely two camps that are diabolically.
Why did a guy like Putin even entertain a sit down with a guy like Biden, though? Just for comic relief?
Exactly.
I think he'd find it funny, yeah.
To show the ridiculousness of
sure.
Of our...
Sit the clown down in front of me.
But actually, he had glowing reports of the guy.
And you want to hear even something funnier?
He's just been in the States.
Our Prime Minister, Cortek, did you see that our Prime Minister tried to have a sit down with Biden, and Boris Johnson turned up? So that just shows how much of a clown our Prime Minister is, where we're going to sit down with the major clown, so you get the British clown to go in as well.
They're both clowns. Oh,
they're all three of them are clowns.
Oh, yeah. All of them. Look, it's broken across the globe. We all know they're in on the fix. The gig is up.
It's absolutely up. It's absolutely up. And they're trying their best to keep it alive, and it's not working.
Absolutely. The spell doesn't work anymore. Like going back to what Viking was saying, how people are waking up to the chicanery, a word I can't spell. That is it's just pure. It's basic logic and believing what you're seeing. And I'm not saying that they'll be tricked into it. They're just seeing it. It's certain things where, like, if Donald Trump actually walked across and slapped Hillary Clinton at or Hillary went over and slapped Donald Trump at a debate, you can't refute that because you actually saw it and there's no way of hiding it. Now, that didn't happen, just pointing that out. I just made that up as a bad example.
I saw both of them in my mind, though. They did happen.
Have you seen the latest clone of Hillary? It doesn't even look like her. This is how bad it's gotten. They must have done it on
a copy of a copy of a copy.
They must have done it on an evening shift on a weekend, because it's like
shift change. Well, what are we going to do here? We're going to finish this job.
Also, the Queen of England is not her. I mean, and she looks about like she's 60, not 190.
She got over her grief really quickly, didn't she? She was distraught. She was in total pain, which I'm not a big fan of it, but I can understand when they were married for 60 years and the love of her life had passed on, and less than 2 months later she's all jolly and she got a sword out to cut a cake, and that's a bit odd.
Well, he died last year in spring, and they basically waited till now to disclose that.
Yeah, they do that for their timing and rituals and placement of planets and all that
exactly.
stuff. Same with Mandela funeral. He could have died.
The Vortrekker monument. Do you guys know about that? Everyone was over there. Time to check it out. It's a Vortrekker monument. It aligns like at one particular time. It aligns a beam of light that is decoded in somehow. But everyone was there, and the excuse was Mandela at the time. Really interesting.
Yeah, because apparently Mandela died 6 months earlier, but they had the funeral at that time where it was a full moon or a solar eclipse or something.
That was the date where this type beam of information came, or type beam of light comes through the roof, and it's all, if you got the right stuff to decode it, or whatever they do, or whatever happens, I don't know.
But it's getting to the point where
it was super sus.
All this stuff, say, in the 20th century was all hidden behind 17 curtains and no one really knew about it, and the flow of information was completely locked down. But we're at the point now where we're finding out stuff every day, and just the complete lunacy of my pronoun is Z and Zer. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, I get your pronoun right here.
Yeah, it's like, really, but gender is social construct. Unfortunately, nature has the same construct,
where
What ever happened to trust the science?
Oh well, yeah, well, like in climate change, yeah.
You know,
Have
a
you
couple
noticed that?
things I've noticed that are out the window. My body, my choice, and trust the science when it comes to pronouns and vaccines.
Remember we used to actually say to your doctor, "I'd like a second opinion." Well, you're ugly too, but you know that's dropped away. It's like I had conversations with my dad, and he's like, "Oh, I trust the doctors," and which ones? The ones that are banned or the ones that are being funded?
The ones that have been in the medical industry for 40 years and haven't practiced.
Yeah,
in 40 years.
Which, here's a question for the roundtable: who would you trust, Dr. Rand Paul or Dr. Fauci?
Ooh, that's
Are you kidding me?
I know exactly. We don't even have to go to the Jeopardy theme song to feel.
His daddy's a Freemason, though, Mr. Rand Paul. By the way,
well, yeah, but not all Freemasons are, because they've been infiltrated by somebody at higher ups and all that type of thing as well. Like, it's fascinating here in Victoria. Yeah, for a secret society, they have a TV show on the community TV station down here. They have buildings all through the city with the Freemasons on. Like, if they're a secret society, they're not really hiding. I found out my granddad was a Mason, but it was probably a lower level one where they're not worshipping Moloch or whatever, but it's and what do you it's think just Moloch another club.
What?
What do you think Moloch is?
He's a draconian.
Okay, but
that would make an 8-foot lizard. That,
I live 5 miles. I live as the crows flies from that camp.
Bohemian.
I hear a lot of people. The common mistake is, gentlemen, that a lot of people think Moloch is the owl at like Bohemian Grove. That is not Moloch.
No, but that is an effigy of Moloch, and then by doing that, by creating an effigy, you actually can create a portal, and their whole idea with that statue in Bohemian Grove being Moloch is that they're creating a portal to the underworld, and that's their intent.
Yeah, I think also the owl would be the marketing. It's like, instead of a flesh-eating disease type thing, it's like, this is not going to sell well in Iowa. So, no, it's an owl.
Have you guys heard the conclusions that are happening now with these conclusions? Okay, I haven't heard the outcome of this particular one. So we've just recently, I'm just following up with what we just heard, some denial of healthcare, right? Based on not having the vaccine, supposed vaccine. So here's this. A federal judge wants to hold, I'm not sure if you guys know about this. This happened in May. I covered this story, and there's been one update I can share with you, but that's it. A federal judge Federal judge wants to hold U.S. Marshals in contempt over COVID-19 vaccine spat. So what happened is the judge called the Marshal Service and wanted to know of their status on the vaccine, right? Whether they had it or not, right? And the marshal, in a roundabout way, told the judge to pound sand. No, I don't have to share this with you. So they showed up to court, and again, the judge asked, "Hey, everybody's got a bracelet on, or they got some kind of card. Can I see your guys' status card?" And again, the marshals are like, "Yeah, no, that's not happening." So a judge now filed a criminal complaint against the marshals, against the U.S. Marshal Service.
Doesn't sound productive.
Yeah. So he's an 83-year-old Aberdeen-based judge. So he was in South Dakota. So the update is
not only that, but the Federal Marshal Service is now saying that they don't have enough money to give the federal judges, marshal protection. That just came out in the last day or so.
Oh, funny how that works. Funny how that works.
No connection, nothing sus.
That's good shit, Jacker.
Well, that's just as ludicrous. I mentioned this in the last show that there was a senator that wanted to shut down Gitmo. Putting across a bill that the Obama administration sees no need for Gitmo and wants to shut it down. Well, yeah, because that's where they're all going.
You know, constitutionally, the U.S. Marshal Service does not answer to the federal judge. They don't. They have no obligation to answer to a federal judge. Just like the sheriff, they're up there with the sheriff. They're not exactly. They came after the sheriff. You know, the marshal's job would go from county to county. They would have this mutual understanding between the counties that, in order to catch fugitives that are on the run outside of these jurisdictions, the marshal would come in and he could operate lawfully under multiple jurisdictions.
So they were. That's why they were created. So
right. They were
Marshal.
actually the precursor to the Texas Ranger. If you want an idea, of
it went sheriff, marshal, Texas Ranger.
Norris.
Yep.
Well, Chuck Norris is Chuck Norris. Let's be fair. But yeah, it's like there's a TV show.
There'll never be another Lone Wolf McQuaid.
There's a TV show called Justified, which is about the federal marshals in the South. If you like it, go watch it. If you're not, but it's
Kentucky and the Hollers specifically.
Yeah. And it's fascinating of how they're created, and they're separate in a way, and they basically are the federal sheriffs, and so
exactly.
And also it makes sense because like in one documentary about Jack the Ripper, back when that was happening, they postulated that Jack, the person who was killing the prostitutes, the police force was only for like sheriff per county, and Jack would be being chased or is trying to evade capture and just cross the River Thames, and he's in a different police thing who had no idea what was going on. So it makes sense if you kill someone in Reno and then you hand over to Denver, you're scot-free, and then you have the federal marshals finding you, where that's why it makes
This
sense.
is beautiful right here. So I guess June 14th, I got it. This doesn't have the update on it. I'll have to look for it. Apparently, on June 14th, well, why wouldn't it have the update? So apparently, gets bigger. The U.S. Marshal for South Dakota is this dude named Daniel Mosteller, something like that. And another cat named Stephen Hofteling is chief deputy. They're ordered to show up in court to explain to the judge or convince the judge, according to this, why he shouldn't hold them in contempt. The order also applies to John Killigan, the chief of staff for the national director of the USMS. So that's the United States Marshal Service. Yeah, garbage. There's no way. I just don't see these marshals taking a knee to this 83-year-old Aberdeen judge. No. They're going to tell Mr. Cornman to pound sand. Your Honor, all due respect, pound sand.
Yeah, I mean, what's he going to do?
U.S. Marshals going to be forced to take a vaccine? No freaking way.
Who are they going to have arrest them? State marshals. I mean, it's just like the whole thing is ridiculous. There was a point in time when Trump was in office where they were starting to put up the fence around the White House, and he brought in the 122nd out of Florida and marshalized all of them. This is where you start to understand which camp the marshals are in.
Yeah. The marshals, and I think they're going to find that the body of the FBI, the part that's not woke anyways, you're going to find that the bulk of the police, like what Jacker likes to refer to as the Seven Kingdoms, the sheriffs and the police department. And
7,000 kingdoms of the United States.
7,000 kingdoms, right?
7,000 kingdoms of the American law enforcement power tree. Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm a believer in that. I'm not a believer in the justice system. However, I think their fatal mistake was telling a bunch of easy to control on average. I'm not saying all cops, but because I know I got cops that listen to my show, and this show. So what I'm saying is that you, by and large, have a steady diet of order followers within the police department. Okay.
Mostly
what happens is they've given them this idea they're upholding the rights of the citizenry, right? This Constitution, which we know it's mostly garbage. The Constitution has done very little for the citizens of this country to this point. The 14th Amendment basically enslaved the entire population in the United States. So having said that, they're easy to manipulate, but at the same time, they are hell bent on protecting this Constitution. They took an oath to the Constitution, and many of them believe wholeheartedly in it. And that's gonna that right there, that thought, that ideology is gonna backfire big time. And again, they're going to become an asset of the citizens they represent. I think most people will have their police departments on their side against any type of UN or foreign invasion. Go ahead.
If they still have one, I mean, they're resigning left and right.
Yeah, well, if they get rid of qualified immunity, that will present a real problem. Go ahead.
I saw shared by Tim Pool that was it Portland? The entire riot squad resigned.
Quit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bye bye.
And that's sort of backing up what you're saying is
because of the incarceration of one of their members due to upholding the law.
Yeah, well, see, that's the level of insanity that we're at. It's like, you can't do that. You hurt my fees. It's written in the law. Shut up. And of course, they all would all, because if you think about it, if one riot squad officer can be taken down for that stupidity, everyone else can be a target. And
yeah, but where are those guys going to work next? That's my question.
Well, they're on pension for one thing for a while, and then they'll figure it out, or they'll
just hang out in Vietnam like Rambo and wait for someone to turn up in a helicopter
be
saying, "We need you back."
They could move. They could move to Arizona, Texas, or Florida. They could
be a bunch of mercenaries during the Forever Purge. Yeah, you guys hear about this? The Forever Purge? Oh yeah, and guess what date it's coming to the theaters? Just guess. Guess what's coming in back? I mean, July is going to be one eventful month.
July 4th.
Oh, yeah,
July 4th. Yeah. The Forever Purge gets released.
I'm not sure when it's released, but there's a new film called Karen. Guess what that's about?
AI?
No, it's a racist white woman and her brother, and they pick on a black family. And there's already backlash because obviously it's a low level. We've got $3 to create a movie, and it looks utterly terrible.
Instantly from DVD to coaster.
You don't recognize anybody.
It's like Trailer Park.
Yeah, and it's already being attacked for it's playing on
CRT.
No. It's making money from the black experience or something like that. It's been because you think it would be a major movie for the woke to go, look, this is perfect, but it's being attacked because it's
exploited. They're calling it exploiting.
They're exploiting. They're exploiting it. It's like even then it's like, oh, this would be a good idea, so we can virtue signal, and then they're getting attacked for
the virtue signal. I just want to.
The left eat their own. I mean, they also can't meme, but if you leave them alone now. That reminds me with the Victoria's Secret, they were going to have that lady from the soccer team who's a lesbian.
Yeah. Oh my God.
However,
she's in a bit of trouble, isn't she?
Yeah, because she had a tweet from 10 years ago. She's already been cancelled from that because she said you look like an Asian person with your eyes closed. And so we're getting to the point, Viking. The whole don't pick a side, just stand on the sidelines. It's like we're going to do this. Oh, but you said this, so anything they put forward gets teared down by them. It's like letting Hitler survive World War II because he's gone insane.
Who was it? Who was it? Yeah. Okay, Target, Walmart. Kohl's. These are all like the big box stores. I think some lower level like recycle stores like TJ Maxx and another one. There's another one out there that does the same type of thing. Anyways, they're all, I guess what they've done is they've cut all of the standardized two gender modeling contracts, and now all of their models will be the likes of that female soccer player. I forget her name. She's got the, she fits the pseudo female soccer player for the U.S.
Blue hair.
Blue hair, yes.
The hair changes color all the time. Either way, she's in the front. She's like at the front of this whole thing. And that's what we're going to start seeing now. It's going to be this standardized, gender-neutral platform and all of the new advertising for the big box stores. It's going to be absolutely disgusting. Eventually, they'll pull away gender from equating anything to gender at all.
They took away the Victoria's Secret's Angels catwalk.
Yes. That as well. Yeah. Yes. Keep going. Go.
They're not doing the catwalk anymore.
Yeah.
And they're not. It's no longer representing the sensual, sexy woman. Now it's representing some frumpy and comfortable shoes.
Yeah, the company's dead.
Like a man.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier.
Like
yeah,
just disgusting.
The company is dead in the water now.
Basically,
Victoria's Secret. Hey, what is wrong with you? Besides being a pedophile, I'm sorry. What happened?
Yeah, he is a pedophile.
Yeah.
But if the new world needs to be created, the old world's got to be destroyed. So there's that element of that where it's only ideas.
Multiple times, right, Monty? Monty?
Well, if everything's corrupt,
multiple times on the Jeffrey Epstein plane, right?
Oh yeah,
Lolita Express.
Yeah, I love how people say, there's a conspiracy theory. There's a small cabal of pedophiles that rule the planet. And they don't. What about Jeffrey Epstein? They don't make the connection of like, well, Jeffrey Epstein had the Lolita Express to his island with underage girls. And you look at the flight manifest, and it's all these elite who are a small group that run everything. This is the level of cognitive dissonance that we live in with certain people. They can't make the simple connection of Epstein. The Clintons don't do that, but they're connected to Epstein. La 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 la.
But it's also like, well, Trump's a misogynist, but Hillary's body count is not even taken into effect, or the fact that she
just added
Haiti,
another one too.
Libya, all the atrocities that they did. They still think Orange Man's bad, and as I said before, this last election was not for Biden, but they're voting against Trump. That's the only reason why Biden got votes. He only got the latest count here that they're doing this count is 80 million to 10 million.
Yeah, it's just.
And they had to work their printing presses overtime to get all the votes to. 80 million votes. I mean, God,
the purge comes out on July 4th. On July 9th, we have Cyber Polygon, where they kill the power, they kill the food chain, gas comes to a halt, 10 days of darkness. Wow.
Yeah.
That's if their plans go ahead.
And then what? Jesus Christ is going to come out of a bunch of clouds with UFOs on his left and right.
Blue beam.
How will blue beam work? Like, if they use the avatar of Jesus Christ, how are the Muslims, Hindus, Jewish people, everyone else? It's like, okay.
No. It's better than that. It's going to be. It's already defined, Monty. That's what you don't understand. It's voice to skull in every language. And the image they will see will match all of their books. No. It's perfect. It really is.
If it works,
it's
but
perfect.
Remember, we're talking about idiots. So
that was what was written for it before they started to try to do it. This is what we're gonna make it do. Okay, so we got to update that. There's no sound now.
Are you doubting Voice to Skull?
No.
No.
I do it in a planetary way.
Yeah, I don't see it going global because these people are idiots. And also, someone may uphold their oath and go, "Well, this is wrong." So,
someone, a few million.
Anyway,
yeah,
I'm gonna plug my show.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so we do a show called the Galactic Interstellar Council on Fridays in Studio A at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this week we're going to be talking about people, absolutely falling apart and how to protect yourself and how to recognize the syndrome, this new syndrome that's going to be occurring here in the next 18 months.
Oh, cool. Thank you for that.
Nice.
Mechanic, do you want to tell people where they can find you on the station?
Yeah, my show starts the moment I walk out my front door. Next.
Yeah, so that's the Truman Show sequel called The Mechanic Show. Excellent. So that was Planet Collingwood. It was comedy and everything else in between. So that was fun. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, thanks. Please go to revolution.radio or freedomslips.com and donate what you can because we're 100% listener supported. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. Thank you for everyone that's been on. I'm just waiting for a phone call now because my mum's buying me pizza because that's the life I lead. So we've got about a couple of minutes to go. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Whatever you do out there, people, get a grip. Mechanic out.
There you go. So, Cortek?
Yeah, week 66 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Keep a count on it.
Yeah, are you actually correct with that?
I may be off by 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. No, it's just I'm not having a go at you. It's like someone will have a go at you. It's like it's 67.
I hope they do. If we've got it right and someone else thinks I've counted better, let's hear it and get it right.
It's simple thing.
Move forward.
Just counts from March till now because just then 852.
Yeah, I'm saying 66 unless
I don't think it's been 14 weeks. So April, May, June. No, you could be right. You're listening to Revolution Radio Studio A. That was Planet Collingwood. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours for another orbit. Thank you, thank you all, and remember, have fun, and I'll see you soon.